Thanks for joining us. Here's our agenda today. It's a little bit switched around from what you might have seen on when you signed up. So the lovely Ella is going to hand over the reins to me and Steve. Ella was part of the UK Healthcare TUG a couple of years ago before she left the NHS to go work elsewhere. We're then going to introduce ourselves, Steve and I, let you know who we are. Steve's going to do a bit of a session, and then we're going to do a little bit of listening from you. And we've got a mentee thing to go through that with. And then we've got Alistair Bulward from NHS England coming to talk to us. And then the thing that I'm sure you're all here for is the swag wheel at the end to win up to $35. I'm afraid it is in dollars, but that's about 35 quid from the Tableau store. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Ella. He's going to just say hello and give us a nice little intro.
And weirdly, I didn't plan to be wearing the same jumper that's on my picture. Yeah, hi everybody. Nice to see everybody. Nice to see 49 participants already, which is great. The launch of Healthcare TUG. Yes, I used to run the UK Health TUG up until a couple of years ago. I think I did it for 2 years. I actually worked in the NHS for 16 years. And have been using Tableau for 9 years. And I'm proud to say that the person who introduced me to Tableau is Steve Adams. So seems to have come round in a big loop. But yes, he's the reason I am obsessed with Tableau and been using it ever since. I'm really excited to see the Healthcare User Group relaunch. I stepped away when I left the NHS a couple of years ago. Felt like I couldn't quite give it the service I could because I'm not sitting in the same industry anymore. Still using Tableau, still doing a similar job, but not in healthcare. So I've been, we wanted to try and get it relaunched and find people who were keen to run it. And I can say that I professionally stalked Charlotte on LinkedIn and thought that she looked like a good candidate for running a user group. She seemed really enthusiastic about the NHS and data visualization and Tableau. So we connected a while back and I gave her a bit of a nudge around relaunch the Healthcare User Group, and she was really excited to do so. I'm really chuffed that she's now here doing it, and we also engage with Steve because we know he's a big supporter of the NHS and healthcare generally, and Tableau genius. So I'm really excited to see it relaunch, and really I think you've got two great leaders in Steve and Charlotte to take this forward and get the most out of these kind of user groups, because they are really helpful, really useful, sharing ideas, learning from each other, connecting, all kind of sharing similar challenges within a similar industry. So I won't chat on more because I'll make sure that you're getting the most out of this session. But yeah, handing over the reins officially and wishing you all the best.
Thank you so much, Ella, and thank you so much for stalking me and giving me this opportunity. Super. So we'll dive into the agenda. So let me just share again. So now we're just going to do a little introduction of who Steve and Charlotte are. So I'll hand over to Steve because he's going to introduce me. Are you there, Steve?
I knew I'd make a mistake. Sorry about that. I've got a cough. I'm trying not to cough on screen. Excuse me. So this obviously is Charlotte, and Charlotte works for NHS Arden and Gem CSU as a visual analyst. She's worked in and around the NHS since 2008, so it's a good 15 years. At work, Charlotte is designing and building tabtastic dashboards, as you'd expect, using Tableau, and co-founded and leads her company's data visualization community. Charlotte is passionate about teaching good data visualization principles and using Tableau to tell stories through data. As Ella said, a perfect person to be running this TUG. Outside of work, Charlotte enjoys theatre and is a member of a local amateur dramatics society where she acts, directs and stage manages. I'm not sure she does it all at once. Charlotte is also a keen equestrian and supports equestrian sports by volunteering as a British eventing official. At home, you may have noticed Charlotte lives in Lincolnshire with a couple of cats. We've seen Poppy already. I'm not sure if Oscar's going to make a visit later on. And apparently her partner, Dave, gets a little bit of time in there as well. So that's Charlotte.
Thank you for that intro. And this is Steve. Steve is a Tableau ambassador, trainer and coach, and founder of thevizdj.com. With 20 years of director level experience, he has zoned in on data visualization to enable better decision making for organizations. Tableau is his weapon of dashboard construction. He curates the weekly Tableau Bites newsletter and manages the LinkedIn Tableau training page. He co-leads both the Birmingham and this UK Healthcare Tableau user group and presents and talks whenever he can. His passion is to empower people with Tableau skills to drive performance and change lives. At home, Steve tells me he is a failed champion for the long-lost cause that parents' lives matter. So that's us. Hello. If you'd like to put anything in the chat, I'll be monitoring the chat as we go on, and we can keep saying hello and you can get to know us a bit better. Go over and follow us on LinkedIn. That's mostly what I use. I do have a Twitter, but I don't tend to use it that much. So you will find me on LinkedIn. And I think that's the same for you, Steve, isn't it? You don't tend to use much Twitter. You're more LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'm on both, but I think LinkedIn is where I'm normally at. So feel free to connect with me, follow me, and message me on there. No problem at all.
Yeah, same for me. And we'd love to hear from you. So without further ado, I'm going to move us on to the agenda. We're way ahead of time. But Steve is going to whisk us through a framework that we think will help foster your needs through training, workshops, and collaboration initiatives. So I'm going to stop sharing and hand over to Steve.
Cool. Thank you very much for that. Hopefully you can see that coming up shortly.
Just a black screen at the moment, Steve.
Not the intention, is it? Wonder why that might be. All right.
Dilesh says he subscribes to your Tableau Bites, Steve.
Oh, so good.
You've got a fan in the chat.
Oh, he didn't say he's a fan. He just said he subscribes to it.
Anybody puts a thumbs up.
That's true. That's true. Anybody can subscribe. It is for free. So hopefully you can see my slides come up now. So
I can, yes.
As Charlotte mentioned, I didn't want to do any training today. I thought about it, but I realized that actually what we should be doing is asking you, there's 54 of us now on this call, what sort of sessions you would like to be having at these tugs going forwards. Going forwards, this is a virtual tug, of course. We will continue in the virtual vein, but we're likely to do hybrid tugs as well. So that means that people will be able to come along both virtually and also network in person as well. And that will allow us to do hybrid workshops and breakout sessions. So we're going to kind of practice with that because we've never done it before. And I'm going to set up some breakout sessions later on. And in those breakout sessions going forwards, we want you to come up with some ideas as to what you would like. So the idea is that you might like some training specifically on a particular subject. It could be something new, it could be something old, it could be something borrowed or something blue, right? But we also think we could be doing workshops where people are developing ideas together and perhaps even developing assets and resources which you can take away with you. You may not complete those assets and resources in the session, but you'll have a walk away with an action plan, because we're going to facilitate those workshops to make sure that you've got some steps to follow up on when you get back to your own teams. And it may well be that you want to collaborate with each other and continue to develop those assets. So, for example, it may be that you think there are certain assets which can be used across multiple different organizations, or it may be that you want to use just develop your own assets based upon those workshops for you to use locally as well. So what we want is some ideas from you on what subjects we can cover in those sessions. And what I thought might be a good idea would be to utilize a framework that I use with my clients to just give you some ideas as to what sort of subjects could come up. But before we cover that, let's be clear. Who are these sessions for? Well, I could just say everybody, but that would be boring, wouldn't it? But it is pretty much everybody. It's going to be, if you're an analyst and a developer with Tableau, you're going to find those sessions useful because you're going to learn something from them and you're going to be able to maybe impart your knowledge on other people as well. And it may well be that we'll ask guest speakers like yourself to come along and do some presentations if you want to do that as well. If you are a trainer in your own organization, then you're also going to get some benefit from those collaboration sessions as well, maybe taking away additional training material or developing something that you can use with your colleagues when you get back. So therefore, you could be in an enablement team, or maybe you're sitting in a center of excellence team where you're actually developing everything, and you're also making sure that other people are enabled to get the most out of Tableau, the platform, and more importantly, out of your data, so that you can drive decision making. So that's who we think those sessions will be for. And this slide is kind of like just one slide I wanted to go through, which is hopefully going to give you some ideas about what you might want to do. So you might want to take some notes in this session. We're going to create some breakout rooms as well, put you into maybe groups of 4 or 5 people, so you can also discuss together what you think will be good ideas. Because after that breakout session, we've also then got an online quiz which you can complete and put down your specific ideas. Wilf has asked, which Tableau apps are we thinking about? Everything, Wilf, everything. So we're talking about desktop, we're talking about cloud, we're talking about prep, catalog management, whatever you think is beneficial for you, okay? Oh, that's better. Right. So this framework hopefully will give you some thoughts and ideas now. Then we're going to breakout groups, and then you'll complete a form online. So what are we trying to achieve ultimately, whether it be ourselves or whether it be our colleagues we're working for? I like to summarize it in very simple terms. We want powerful dashboards. Now, you can define powerful dashboards in quite a few different ways. Maybe they're delivering insights. Maybe they're data-driven. But preferably, they're driving action and they're improving performance, right? But there's lots of different terms you could talk about dashboards. I like to summarize it in just those 2 words as powerful dashboards. We also want to make sure that they cover the 3 E's, as I like to put it. Easy to understand, easy to use, and hopefully easy to build as well. However, what I've covered through lots of the conversations I've been having with my clients and also other people is that people have got 3 key areas that they struggle with, which prevent them from being able to produce powerful dashboards on a regular basis to the level that they want to. And those 3 key areas are design concerns. So, for example, you may already have a number of dashboard developers in your organization. People who are now being introduced to Tableau, whether they be senior or junior members of staff, are seeing all these wonderful dashboards flying around, and they're thinking, is mine really going to cut the mustard? Is it going to be as good as other people's? Should I even risk putting mine out there amongst other people? So they have these concerns around their own design and the ability of their dashboards to deliver. The other one, though, is there's just way too much information out there. There's too much knowledge. You Google something, you get back with pages and pages of relevant blogs, and you read the first blog or the second blog or the third one, and you think, this is a brilliant blog, but it's not quite meeting what I need, and you end up going down a rabbit hole. So there's this problem of just too much information. Thirdly, 2 types of deadline pressure. The first one is, I've got no time to learn Tableau because I've got these other things going in my life. I'm not a Tableau developer spending 60, 70, 80% of my time. I just want to use Tableau for maybe 10 or 15% of my time max. And I just don't have time to learn it to deliver the things the way I want to because I've got other deadlines and other pressures. That's the first type of deadline pressure. The other one is the opposite, which is I've got to deliver some analysis or a report or a dashboard right now, and I just don't have time to learn the actual skills required to deliver it. So I'm going to go back to what I already know, whether that be that Power BI thing, or whether it be Excel or even PowerPoint in some cases. So I just don't have time to learn the skills I need. Okay. What we want to replace those barriers with is giving people quality confidence that they're delivering something which kind of makes sense, is good quality, and other people are going to be able to use it. So therefore it matches that E of easy to understand and easy to use. Okay. Secondly, we want people to have access to fast track learning. And what that means is only the pieces I need to learn right now to deliver the dashboard that I'm trying to learn and implement right now. Because of this information overload, we want better signposting, and we also want smaller modules which just do exactly what I need it to, or at least I learn the fundamental skills to deliver the certain pieces of that dashboard. I want fast track learning instead of information overload. And I want to turbocharge the whole build process. So I want to overcome that deadline pressure so I can rush my way through and still get a good quality product at the end of it. Okay, so those are the three areas. And what I've broken it down into, and these are the ones which I'm hoping will spark off some ideas for our sessions, the training and learning and collaboration framework, is the first start is then making sure that everybody has got a process that they can just follow to build a dashboard, rather than just being thrown in at the deep end and saying, right, now you know how to build dashboards, go and build. In my experience, different types of people within the same organization need a different process. So on one hand, you may have Tableau developers, consultants, experts. They're going to need one particular process, and then you're going to have those people that want to use Tableau quickly to spit out something quite ad hoc and quickly. They're going to need a very different process, but they shouldn't have to design that process from scratch themselves. So we want to be able to give that to them, so that they know exactly what to do and they follow that process and they come out the other end with the results as quickly as possible. The biggest area, of course, of problem we get is scope creep. You know, we build something and somebody says, oh, that's great.
back out stick be night. He's shooting books to said my spies from recruited perspective and so don't know if you could get
there's like
wheel the pointy hopefully did but and that and so went to everyone given who for their schedule
to make you in the T50 no there's a will media have will be
so what you really